It's 3 a.m. You're in a helium headspace. It's September 19th, 2025. L.A. Confidential premiered on this day in 1997. Starring Kevin Spacey, Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, James Cromwell, Danny DeVito, and Kim Basinger, who, as Lynn Bracken, has one of the film's final lines. Some men get the world, others get ex-hookers and a trip to Arizona. Adjusted for inflation, the film made $10.5 million and went on to make $255 million. William Golding was born on this day in 1911. He wrote like a man who had seen the lights go out and wanted to know why. A school teacher turned Royal Navy officer in World War II, he came back convinced that civilization is but a thin coat of paint. Lord of the Flies tests that idea by stranding schoolboys on an island and watching their tidy rules slide toward fear, faction, and blood. The book isn't a sermon, it's a hypothesis about human nature when no one is watching. Golding kept pressing on the same nerve in later work. The Inheritors imagines Neanderthals meeting Homo sapiens. The Spire shows faith buckling under pride. And Rites of Passage opens a trilogy about class and conscience at sea. In 1983, the Nobel Committee honored him not for comfort, but for clarity. He made readers look straight at the darkness and still ask how to live decently within it. Kiora Petsa Ko-Sisila, his pen name was Bra Willie, was born on this day in 1938. He made poetry move like a good band keeps time. Forced into exile by apartheid South Africa, he spent years in the United States absorbing the cadence of Harlem jazz and the urgency of the black arts movement, then returned to South Africa to help shape a literary culture after 1990. His poems don't posture, they swing, break, and reassemble, using the riff and refrain to talk about dignity, exile, and the stubborn work of freedom. A collection like My Name is Africa shows how he stitched township memory to bebop improvisation, insisting that art answer to real lives. Named South Africa's National Poet Laureate in 2006, he became a generous mentor as much as a laureled writer, reminding younger artists that a poem should listen first, and then speak with the clarity of a horn at noon. In 1648, Blaise Pascal turned a mountain into a laboratory. Unable to climb the mountain himself, he sent his brother-in-law, Florine Perrier, up the Puy de Dôme with a simple but loaded device, a glass tube of mercury inverted in a basin. Perrier measured the column at the base of the mountain, then again at waypoints, and finally at the summit, watching it sink as he rose. That steady drop meant the mercury wasn't held up by nature's supposed horror of a vacuum, but by the weight of the air pressing down. Less air above you, less pressure, shorter column. The test confirmed Torricelli's barometer idea, put a dent in centuries of Aristotelian physics, and gave science a new tool. Pressure could be measured, weather could be guessed at, and altitude could be reckoned, not by hunch or authority, but by the quiet fall of a silver line. In 1783, the Montgolfier brothers staged a tidy experiment for Louis XVI that turned drawing room speculation into a new scientific fact. They inflated a great paper and silk bag with hot air at Versailles, fastened beneath it a wicker pin, and sent up a sheep, a duck, and a rooster, the barnyard chosen with purpose. The duck served as the control, already built for altitude. The rooster, a flyer but not a high one, would tell if thin air punished fragile lungs, and the sheep stood in for us. The balloon rose cleanly, drifted beyond the palace grounds, and came down with its passengers alive and unconcerned, which was all the argument the skeptics needed. From then on, hot air was not a parlor trick but a workable engine, and the nation of France felt bold enough to let people climb aboard a few weeks later. In 1959, two physicists, Giuseppe Cacconi and Philip Morrison, put a cool head on a hot question by writing Searching for Interstellar Communications in the journal Nature. They argued that if any distant civilization wanted to be heard, it would likely use radio waves at the 21-centimeter line of neutral hydrogen, a frequency every astronomer knows and the galaxy broadcasts as a kind of universal mile marker. A deliberate, needle-thin signal there would stand out from the hiss. Better yet, they said, we didn't need rockets or satellites to look for it. Existing radio telescopes could aim at nearby sun-like stars and listen. With that, speculation turned into an experiment. The next year, Frank Drake tried it at Green Bank under the name Project Ozma, and the search for extraterrestrial intelligence became a method, not a campfire story. In September of 1991, 2 hikers found a withered human body melting out of the ice high in the Ötztal Alps on the Italian-Austrian border. The man, soon named Ötzi, dates to around 3300 BCE, the late Copper Age rather than the Bronze, and he came with his life still on him. A near pure copper axe with a yew handle, a flint knife, a quiver, an unfinished longbow, birch bark containers for carrying embers, a woven grass cloak, and leather shoes packed with dried grass for insulation. His skin bears scores of dark tattoos along joints and spine. His stomach preserved grains and game from his last meal, and an arrowhead in his shoulder along with head trauma likely sealed his fate. Because the glacier kept not only the man, but his clothes, tools, diet, and DNA, Ötzi turned a chance discovery into a reference point for prehistoric Europe, reshaping what we know about early metalworking, medicine, travel, and, through ancient genomics, who our neighbors were 5,000 years ago. And those are some of the things humans have managed to do over the years. Smile more, reach out to us on social media, subscribe to our stuff.